When the King of England, Richard III, was thrown into his grave 500 years ago, it started one of the biggest mysteries of all time. Centuries of lies, rumors, myths, and mistakes led to his burial site becoming shrouded in mystery. And the question was, where did he go? All of this led one lady to a small parking lot in England, where all of a sudden, an enormous clue revealed itself. When the Battle of Bosworth came to an end, Richard III was found dead. His enemy, Henry Tudor, immediately declared himself king, and Richard's body was taken off to the town of Leicester and put on display for the whole town to see. According to records, he was buried unceremoniously beneath the Greyfriars Church, and a monument was eventually placed above his grave. The land where it once stood was eventually bought by the mayor of Leicester, and a mansion was built on top of the site. Although the monument had been destroyed, the mayor knew exactly where Richard was located, and so he placed his own monument to mark the spot. But in 1611, a story was published that would completely alter the course of this mystery. Written by historian John Speed, it stated that when the church was demolished, Richard's body had been taken out by an angry mob and buried under the nearby Bow Bridge. In order to find Richard III, the search team had to go back through the history books and figure out what really happened after he was buried. They started looking into John Speed's story of Richard being buried under the bridge, and that's when they came across something really interesting. The search team took a closer look at his map, and they realized that the Greyfriars Church had been drawn in the wrong location, and it had actually been drawn in the location of the Blackfriars Church. Since he hadn't found a grave, he invented the story of Richard being buried under the bridge. All of this proved that Speed's story was actually false, and the team could focus their efforts on looking for the Greyfriars Church. But any evidence of the church had long since been covered by buildings. The earliest map that showed any detail was from 1741, and it showed the Greyfriars area, which at that point contained the mayor's mansion and the surrounding gardens. The monument that once marked Richard's grave would have stood somewhere in this area. By overlaying more modern maps, it showed that a road was eventually built through the area, and today's buildings had been built on top of the gardens. By the 21st century, the Greyfriars area had been almost completely covered by buildings, and the remaining bits of land had been turned into parking lots. In 2005, Philippa Langley, who was leading the research, came to one of these parking lots to investigate. When she was there, she had a strong feeling that she was in the right place. And then, as if by magic, a sign revealed itself.